everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Don Larry, and today's video shall be the making of a 6-piece skirt with tail at the back. This is how it will look like. We're going to be having 3 panels for the front, and we're going to be having 4 panels for the back because of the zipper. So I'll be using this African print fabric. This is the lining that I'll be using, the matching lining, and then I'll be using both elastic band and the zipper for the skirt. This is optional. You can use just the zipper, but if you're making the skirt for a plus size customer or someone that has big tummy, you can consider using this method. So this is the method that we're going to be using in this tutorial. So before we start cutting on the fabric, these are the measurements that you will need to take. You're going to be taking your skirt measurements, and that will be from your low waist, that is usually around your belly button. You're going to be needing from there to the hem line where you want the skirt to be, and then that is the skirt length. Then you're going to be needing your low waist circumference, so that is where you are placing your skirt. So you measure there. So you're going to be needing your hip measurement, so you measure from where you are placing your skirt, which is your low waist, down to your hip. And then you're going to be needing your knee measurement. So from your waist to your knee, you will take that measurement, and those are the measurements you're going to be needing. Once you've taken the measurement, you divide your hip measurement by 6 because we are making a 6-piece skirt. So you divide it by 6, and for this hip of 46.5, I have 7.75. That is what I have after dividing it by 6. So each of these panel will be 7.75. So this now depends on how wide you want the center panel. This is the center panel here. So it depends on how wide you want this panel to be. So if you want this panel to be the same as the side panels, you're going to be using whatever you get here. Although some people prefer it to be smaller than the side panels, or wide than the side panel. So it actually depends on how you want it. And also you can use your nipple to nipple measurement as a guide. So you can use the center panel, you can use your nipple to nipple measurement to get your center panel. But this is how I usually make my own. I will divide my hip circumference by 6. So whatever I have, that is what I will have for each of this panel. So now that we have 7.75, I'm just going to approximate this to 7.8 inches. And then note that we're going to be joining all these panels together. So we need to add our seam allowance to it. So, and I don't want us to have excess or too much allowance. So this is how we can go about this. So for the center panel, we are going to be adding 1/2 inch seam to both sides. So, and that 1/2 inch at both sides will give us 1 inch. So I will just add 1 inch to this, and with this I will be having 8.8 inches. So this is for the center panel. So this is what I will be having for the center panel. So for the side panels, I'll be adding 1/2 inch to this side that will be joined to the center panel, and then to the side seam I'll be adding 1.5 inches. You can add less than that, you can add more than that. So I'll be adding 1.5 inches to the side, and then I'll be adding 1/2 inch to the part that will be joined to the center panel, which make it 2 inches. So for the side now, I will just write 7.8, which is our hip divided by 6 plus 2 inches. Then I will have 9.8 inches, and this will be for the side panels, and that is settled for the front. So for the back, we are going to be having the same side panels, and then we are going to be using the same center panels for this, just that we're going to be adding zip allowance and the allowance for the tail. So the next thing we want to get now is the hem line, the fullness we want at the hem line. So it depends on the fabric, the amount of fabric you have, and how full you want the skirt to be. So to get the fullness for the hem line, This is the method I usually use, and the minimum I can use is as twice as the hip measurement. That is the hip measurement times 2. So you multiply the hip times 2, and you're not going to be having enough fullness in this case. So I would suggest you use, if you have enough fabric, you multiply your hip circumference by 2.5. So if you have enough fabric, multiply your hip measurement by 2.5. But if you want it more fuller, you will need to multiply your hip measurement by 3. And that is what I'll be using in this case. So for this hip I'm working with, which is 46.5, if I multiply it by 2.5, I will have 116. And that won't be as fuller as what my client wants. So I'll be multiplying a hip measurement by 3 in order for it to be more fuller. So, and I have 139.5, approximately 140. So this will be the M line. So I'll just record 140 to the M line now. So now the next thing you want to do now is to divide this, whatever you have for your fullness, you divide it by 6. And then I will have 23.3. So now that we've calculated what we want to cut out for the center panel, the side panels, and for the M line, and each panels will be having 23.3, just as we've calculated it earlier. So the next thing we want to do now is to cut on the fabric. And to cut on the fabric, you're going to fold your fabric into 2. And this is what you will need as a guide for you to fold your fabric into 2. The 23.3 that we have, I will just approximate this to 24 inches. So that 24 inches will be for one panel at the M line. So you're going to measure 24 inches and then you fold it into 2. So what I have here is 12 inches. From here, this will be the center, the folded edge, and then you just measure it. So I have 12 inches. So if I open it now, I will have 24 inches, and that is for one panel. So you fold your fabric into 2. Now I have 12 inches, as you can see it. So once you've done that, the next thing you want to do now is to mark out your skirt length. The length of this fabric is 44.5 inches. So I'll just manage it. So this will be the starting point. So the remaining inches here, we are not going to be cutting it out. This is what we're going to be using for the band. But if you want to add a separate band to it, you can cut it out. But there is no need of cutting this out. 2 inches, I have 2.5 inches here, and that is enough. Even if you have 2 inches, it is enough for the band. So all you need to do is just to fold this, and then we are going to fold it on the starting points. So as you can see, this is how it will look like. So we are not going to be cutting it out, but this will be our guide for the waistline. That is why I mark this as the starting point. So from there now, I will be marking 8 inches for the hip line. So this is the hip line. So once you've marked the hip line, then we are going to be marking out the new line. So the new line I'm working with is 21 inches. But we're not going to be working directly on the new line. We just need to take that measurement to serve as a guide for us. So once you've marked your new line, you go up by 2 inches, and then you mark that 2 inches, you mark that horizontal line. But if you mark it directly on your new line, you may not be able to work freely if you shape it at the new line. So this is the new line, and this is the skirt length. So the remaining 1 inches here is the hemming allowance. So now that we've marked out all the horizontal line, the next thing we want to do now is to input the measurement. So we are going to be cutting out the center panel, and remember how we arrived at this 8.8 inches. So you divide your hip measurement by 6, then you're going to be adding 1 inch to it. That 1 inch is for joining allowance at both sides. So that is how we arrive at the 8.8 inches. So that 8.8 inches, since we folded this into 2, so we're going to be dividing that into 2. So I'll be having 4.4. So I'm just going to mark 4.4. I will mark it on the waist line. I will mark it again on the hip line. So at the new line, you know, this is our new line, the 2 inches above the normal new line. So that is our new line. So you're going to be deducting 1 inch from whatever you mark at the waist and at the hip line. So I'll be marking 3.4 inches. We are marking this in order to create that kind of A shape. So once you've done this, the next thing now is to connect this mark together. So once you've connected this point together, then we are going to place your ruler or your tape measure down to this M line. So you place it on it slantly like this, and then you're going to roll out that line. So this is what you will have. And at this edge, you're going to mark 1.5 inch, and then you're going to curve it to connect it to this line. So just like I'm doing it now. But I want you to take note of this. If you are not adding an elastic band to your 6-piece skirt, you're going to be inputting your waist divided by 6 plus 1 inch seam allowance. You're going to be inputting it here. And at this point, you're going to be having a kind of curve. So I'm just assuming this is the waist divided by 6 plus 1 inch. This is what I will have. Then I'll just connect this to the hip line. So I will have a kind of, you know, the hip and the waist curve. But because I'm adding an elastic band to it, so whatever I have at the hip line, that is what I will mark at the waistline. Then I'm just going to extend it over to the band. So, and this is what we are going to be cutting out. And remember that this is the center panel. So I'll be cutting this out. So to cut the side panels, I'm just going to fold. I will just fold it over like this. And this will be the upper part now, while this part will be the lower part. And then I will just place the center panel. I will place it on it. And what we have for the side panels is 9.8 inches. So I will just place it, and then I will mark 1 inch. So the side panel will be 1 inch bigger than the center panel. So this is the 1 inch. So I will just mark it down here, here, and here. Then I will place my center panel like this. So you can see the 1 inch difference. Then I will just cut it out. So you can see this is the side panels. And then we are going to be cutting out 4 panels for the side. So for the side panels, I've cut out the 4 panels, as you can see it. So I'll just put that aside. So to cut the panels for the back, just like I told you earlier, that we're going to be having 2 pieces for the center back panels because of the zip. So you're going to be using your front center panel just like this, and then you place it on a folded fabric just like I've done here. And then between the folded edge of the center front and this folded edge, I have 6 inches. So depending on how full you want the tail to be. And another thing is that the length of this fabric is short, as you can see it. So in this case, what we can do now in order to have our tail is that we're going to be adding to the upper part of the skirt. So once we fold it, it's not going to show. So you just move it up to the upper part. And at this lower part here, I have 3.5 inches. So it means I have 3.5 inches up. So that 3.5 inches is what I will need to cut out and add to the center back. So hope you understand. So the next thing we want to do, you know, we have 6 inches here, 3.5 inches. But if you are using a fabric that is longer, maybe by 50 inches, you don't have to join it like this. But this is African print and the length is very short. So the first thing we want to do now, you know, this is our new line. So we're just going to extend this line. You extend it like this. And then from here upward, that will be our zip allowance. So 1.5 inch is enough for that, so I'll just mark 1.5 inch. So at this new line, just come in by 1/2 inch in order to give it a shape. So you come in by 1/2 inch, connect it to the upper part, you blend it together. So from here now we are going to shape it down to this edge, and then you place your ruler slantly like I've done here. Then you trace a line out. So once you've traced this line out, then you're going to connect this edge now to this edge. So you just create a kind of curve shape, and I will just stop right here. So for the down part, if your fabric is longer than this, instead of 3.5 inches that I use here, you can use up to 5, 6 or 7 inches depending on how far you want it. And then for the side as well, you can use up to 7 inches, but I use 6 inches by 3.5 inches here. So, and this is what we're going to be cutting out. And for this side, we're just going to trim out what we have here. Then you're going to notch this line, notch it on all of the panels. So, and when you are sewing it, that will be a guide for you. So for the upper part here, we have 3.5 inches. So I'll just cut out 4 inches because of the joining allowance. I'll just place it like this, then I will trim it out. So just like this. Now that we've cut out all the panels that we did for our 6-piece skirt, the next thing we want to do now is to join it. But if you want to make it a full line 6-piece skirt, you will need to cut out exactly what you have for each panels. So you cut it out and you make sure that the lining is 1 inch shorter than the main fabric. But for this one, I'll be cutting the lining out in A-shaped form. So to do that, I will take 2 side panels and 1 center panels. I will take the front. So this is what I will have for the front skirt. And then for the back skirt, I will take 1 of these. I will connect that to 1 of the center back, and then 1 of these will be connected to 1 of the side panels. So I will join it, and after joining it, then we are going to be cutting out the lining. So I've cut out the lining, and as you can see it, I cut it out in an A-shaped form. So just fold your fabric like this, and then instead of spreading it out, just fold it like this, and then you cut your lining. So that is what I did for both the front and the back. This is the back skirt, and as you can see it, I've turned this zipper area with the lining. So once you've turned it with the lining, all you need to do is you leave about 9 inches for you remember that we're going to be folding it, and then the remaining part for the zipper. So then you just sew from there down to the hem line using that 1 inch seam allowance, and this is what you will have. So this is the other side of it. So once you've done this, we're just going to go ahead now and connect the front and the back together. So to shape it now, remember that the skirt length is 41 inches. Then I added 1 inch hemming allowance, so I'll just place it on it. So this is 42, then I will mark it up. So this is my starting point. I will mark my hip line, then I will mark my new line. My new line is 21, then I went up by 2 inches, so this will be the new line. So then we're going to be inputting the measurement, and remember that we are adding elastic to the side, so we are not going to be shaping it. But if you don't want to add elastic, you will need to input your waist measurement divided by 4 here. So assuming your waist measurement is 30 inches, you divide it by 4, you will have 7.5 inches. So just place it here. So this is our center, you place it here, and then you mark your 7.5 inches. But since we are not shaping it with the waist, we are going to be using the hip measurement. So the hip I'm working with divided by 4 is 11.75. So I'll just mark 11.75 at the waistline. So I'll mark it here. I will mark it again at the hip line. So you can see that it's just a straight line here. But if you are measuring your waist, you will have something curved like this. So at this point, we're going to be taking away 1 inch from what we have here, and then we're going to be marking 10.75 here. This is 10.75. Then I'll just connect it. Make sure you are not creating a fake hip curve. So once you've connected that to the down part, just place your tape measure the way we place it when we started cutting it. So you place it slantly like this, and you still need to maintain that same seam allowance. So that is what you're going to mark out. So I'll just trace it out like this. So it will just go down like that. If you stop from here and then you just sew it and it becomes tiny at this area, you're going to be having a funny shape 6-piece skirt. So this is what you will have. Make sure you maintain the same seam allowance round the side seam. That is when your A-shaped skirt will come out nice. So I will just sew this now, and then when I want to do the other side, I will be dividing my measurement by 2. I've joined both front and the back together, as you can see it, and this is the seam allowance that we have left. So this is the down parts, so this is the tail, and then if you are happy with the seam allowance that you have, you can leave it. I have 2 inches seam allowance here, so I will just trim it, then I will use my overlocker for the raw edges. So now we want to fix the elastic band and the zipper. So we are going to be fixing the elastic band before we fix the zipper. And this is what you will need to do in order for you to know exactly what to cut out for the elastic band. So the hip measurement that we are working on is 46.5 inches, and the low waist measurement is 38 inches. And that is what we want here. We want 38 inches at this side, at the upper side. So what we are going to be doing now, because we have front and the back, so we are going to be dividing this 38 into 2, and we are going to be having 19 inches. So you know we have front, so 19 inches for the front, 19 inches for the back. That makes it 38 inches. So we are going to be measuring what we have here. You know we use the hip measurement for both the waist and the hip. So now I will just measure here, and I have 23.5 here at the upper part, as you can see it. So we have 23.5 inches. So we are going to be taking away this 19 inches, our actual waist measurement. So minus 19 inches, we are going to be having 4.5 inches. Whatever we now measure here, our elastic band will be 4.5 inches shorter than whatever we mark. So I'll be measuring 6 inches from the side seam. So you measure 6 inches. You can use 5 inches, you can use 6 inches, you can use 7 inches. So I'll be using 6 inches at both sides, and then you're going to be marking that same 6 inches at the other side. That is on the back skirt. So that is 6 inches, and remember that our elastic will be at the side. So this 6 inches plus this 6 inches, now I have 12 inches. So I have 12 inches at this side, I have 12 inches at this side, this 6 inches and the one at the back, because we're going to be attaching the elastic to the side. So I have 12 inches. I will just minus 4.5 inches, this 4.5 inches from here, and then I'm going to have 7.5 inches. So I'll be cutting out elastic of 7.5 inches. So you take your elastic and measure 7.5 inches or whatever you get. So you will need to calculate that based on your measurement. So this is 7.5 inches, and I'll be cutting out 2 elastic. So one for this side, one for this side. So you turn your fabric to the right side, and then you place your elastic band on it, and make sure that whatever you left up is enough for you to be able to fold, because we're going to be folding the upper part, and we are not going to sew on the elastic, so that the elastic can move around the casing we are creating for it. I will just pin this down. First of all, you will sew this. So you will sew it like this. Then to the other side that we mark, the 6 inches, you will do the same thing. Like this, and then you will do the same thing to the other side. Once you've done that, we just want to sew it to create the casing for the elastic and the band, and that is the reason why you need to do this first before you fix your zip. So we are going to be starting from the zip area at the back. Then you just fold, you fold it, and then you fold again. So you fold it and then you fold again, just like this. And then we're going to start sewing it. So you fold in, you fold again. Like this, then you continue like that. When you get to the elastic band, you place your fabric maybe 0.1 inch below the elastic band, just like this. This is my fabric and my elastic band is around here, and then you just sew it so that you can see the elastic band should be able to move around. So you can see it. So you keep pulling the elastic till you reach this other side. Then you sew through it. This is what you will have. You can see the elastic at both sides, and then this is the back. So once you've done this, the next thing now is to fix your zip to the zipper area, just like this, and then we are done with the 6-piece skirt. And then also you will just need to hem the hem line using your 1-inch seam allowance. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial today. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.